This is Pillar 1 of Lifestyle Medicine, Plant-Predominant Whole Food Nutrition with Dr. Ilyadis and the Damianos of Counter Culture Beachside. So a couple questions just to kind of get an idea and get our audience to understand where we're coming from in terms of plant-based and whole food predominant meals. What inspired you to focus on your menus to be in plant-based and whole food ingredients here at Counterculture?
Great question. I guess because we are as well, and like I said, we've only been at maybe 9 years, 8 years, 9 years. And when we go out, it's really, really hard for us to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things are laden with butter and fat. You know, you can have a salad. I don't want a salad, I want to eat. So we thought, you know what? Let's create a place where it's all about choices. And, you know, we could just do all whole food plant-based or all plant-based foods, but what fun is that if you've got, and I got to tell you how many people come in, the man is one way, the woman is the other way. One's plant-based, one isn't. And, you know, they get frustrated because they're like, where are we going to eat? He's not going to be happy if he doesn't have, you know, his chicken or his salmon, and I want to eat, you know, healthy. So we really said it's all about choices. Let's kind of create a menu where one side of it is classic cuisine, one side of it is plant-based. And that doesn't mean, you know, not that tofu is bad, because we love tofu, but it's not about that. It's about more people coming in saying, you know, I just can't have dairy. I can have shrimp, but I can't have dairy. So we started off with that. And we created ricotta cheese and mozzarella, all derived from cashews. And that's on the menu. That's one of our most popular, because you know what? People want to have pizza, and they can't have it anymore. They can't have the cheese, you know, and it is not plant-based. So that's how we really, just from us and how we felt, and we thought there's got to be more people like us out there. And boy, did we find out there are people like us. Because I would say, you know, it's like divide the dining room down. One is half, you know, plant-based, and the other is you know, classic cuisine. So
I remember walking into the Boulevard, and you know, I was in that transition stage. It was like 3 or 4 years ago, and seeing the plant strong, and I was like, oh my God, I can probably eat here. And so it was like, and exactly, and that's how I met you guys. And I was just like, you know, this is awesome. This is something that I'm really into. I can't believe we actually have a restaurant here in Vero that will cater to what I need when I need it.
And that's what my customers, they come in and if I get one, I get 15 people thanking me. Because they can eat it.
Because they
can eat out, and they don't have to
And it's not just a salad.
It's not just a salad. I take my own dressings with no oil to restaurants. Sorry, but I do, because, you know, I'm not going to do that.
And I'm also finding that there are some chefs that will adjust. And that will do it and make it the way you want it.
I agree.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
More and more chefs are being aware of it. There's many chefs that say, we're just sending them to Lisa and Tony. And now people are literally trying to eat.
It's all about choices.
So that's our
So the other question I have is, as chefs, how do you balance creating meals that are nutritious, but also approachable for people who might be, you know, new to this lifestyle eating? I know when I came into your restaurant that one time, I was fairly new. So a lot of the foods I was only thinking, okay, well, does it have like chickpeas or garbanzo beans, or do I have to have only beans? And when I saw a variety of things on your menu, I was actually overjoyed to see that I didn't have to only have like a salad or just, you know, garbanzo beans. And you were able to bring that. How do you measure that? How are you able to come up with these things?
That's a good one for you, Anthony.
I've come up with things because I've been inspired by my wife, who was a horrendous eater.
McDonald's, just saying.
And I think it's also training. A lot of food, it's basic technique. So the slicing and the dicing will be basic. You can easily saute and cook things, or you can prep in advance. What I've done, having been a classically trained French chef, studied in Paris, studied all over Europe, came from an Italian background, it's not that hard to replace that oil. Use a little vegetable stock, use some veggie beef stock that now exists. So there are products out there that allow me to recreate classic dishes, even chicken pot pie. You can use soy curls, you can use jackfruit. So I've had to learn, and as we get older, we don't ever want to stop learning.
Right.
And what's interesting is Lisa, made a mention about he or she. Well, there are times when he wants to eat healthy and she wants that cheeseburger.
That's right.
So it's really all about choices. It's
Yes.
your option, your choices. You're not forced to, but it's there if you want it.
And that's awesome. That's really, really good. A lot of people hear the word plant-based and they think it means restrictive. How do you make your dishes both healthy and satisfying where it doesn't feel like I'm only restricting myself to only one type of meal?
I learned by, I follow plantstrong.com, and 9 years ago, thank God they were there for me, because, you can't do this alone. You can't just say, tomorrow I'm going to go all plant-based unless you have a plan.
Right.
You got to stock that pantry. I say, get a book, get some sort of a plant-based book and read it, and it'll tell you how to stock your pantry and tell you how to do that, so that you aren't, because you'll get hungry and you'll go, oh, forget it, I'm just going to have a piece of chicken. It's like, well, maybe let's not do that. Let's get some beans in there. Let's throw. And so you have to have that information, in front of you. And I think that, so many years now that we have been doing this, and we do this at home. We experiment at home. And a lot of times, a lot of the dishes on the menu are because we came up with this from home, and we were like, oh, okay, let's start pulling things out of the refrigerator, things we want to get rid of, things it's going to go bad if we don't do it. And, you're able to take and experiment with, and I say, start off with your favorite things that you like to eat. That's like me, I'm a potato head. I've said it a million times, all potatoes. And, just think about what you can do, and again, you need resources. Don't think you can do this on your own.
Right, that's true.
And pick.
Yearly, tell
people's
us about
brain.
plant stock. That
Oh my gosh,
inspires us
every year. The Esselstyn family, Dr. Esselstyn and his son Rip, who's really taken Plant Strong. Jane and oh my God, Ann Esselstyn. They're just amazing, and they've kind of taught us on how to just put our foot down and say, this is what you need to eat. Foods that are high in density. It was just such a learning experience. And every August, usually it's August, it's usually a weekend, and I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And they get doctors like you, such a fabulous resource of information.
Yes.
And
we hope to see you there.
You should be. I'm going to call
We're
them.
so happy you're in Vero.
I'm going to say I want to
That's
see her on
fabulous.
there, because these nutritionists come on, these chefs that come on that are plant-based chefs.
Right.
Great doctors, Dr. Grieger, Dr. Barnard, Dr. McDougall unfortunately passed.
Yes.
But all these different doctors they get, and such a plethora of information. $30. I mean, it's like nothing. And you just sit in front of your TV, and Tony and I get rejuvened. And what do? We just start, sitting down and coming up with great menus. And it happens to be fall, so our new fall menu will be just ideas of everything. And that's what inspires us.
That's awesome.
And we just don't. Things just don't come into our heads. We read, we look at things, we try to come up with what's going to be good, what do we like, what were our customers like, And I think we've done a pretty good job with it, and we do it 4 times a year.
Yeah.
We change those menus because we listen to people.
Seasonally, as it should
Tony
be.
just added the most amazing French dip.
Oh, goodness.
No filet mignon, portobello mushroom, with that beef stock he was talking, au
That's
jus.
right.
It's a vegan beef stock.
Okay.
But I mean, you think you're eating steak, and you're eating this beautiful portobello mushroom and a little bit of plant-based cheese, and you're dipping it in there. Oh my goodness gracious. But those are things that inspire us. Food inspires us.
Awesome. That's really great things. All the great tips, all the things that we're learning every day. It's a learning process. We're not going to ask people to, go out tomorrow and just only be plant-based. It's a process.
Right. Absolutely.
And so therefore, I'm very, very excited to have you guys here in Vero as well, and to walk us through this whenever we need to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Do they have to ask you something else?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to ask them.
Okay, we got food on this, so let's see.
Glad that you can read that. I
All right,
cannot.
so the question is, from a perspective, what is the first thing people notice when they start incorporating a more plant-based meal into their diet?
Okay. All right, you're gonna leave it around here? Or
Yeah.
Stick it in there? All right.
Yeah. And then how do you explain that the difference between food and
Choices and disease. That's good, so you know how to answer these, so we'll
Yeah.
just do that.
Wait, how do you explain the link between food choices and either help or protect your body from the, okay.
That's good that you, yeah.
Okay, I wrote that down.
That's good, that's smart. I would have done the same thing.
All right, from the medical perspective, what is the first thing people notice when they start incorporating more plant-based meals into their diet?
All right.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna put my glasses on for this one, because I wrote down a few questions that we would like to ask you, and I think your viewers would like to know too, if you don't mind.
Nope, not at all.
One of the things is, from a medical perspective, what's the first thing that people notice when they start kind of incorporating more plant-based meals, into their diet, into their routine? What exactly, from your perspective, what's the first thing that people notice?
When I see the patients that try this, the first thing they notice is weight loss.
Oh, very good. That's why
They
I
notice
started.
weight loss and they notice energy. They come to me and they say, oh my gosh, within a month or two, I've lost at least 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds, or I was able to have more energy to, instead of just walking to my mailbox, walking around my block.
There you go.
At the end of the day, I don't feel so tired, but I feel like I have the energy to complete my day. And I'm not just slouching a couch looking at TV and not having the energy to even make it to my bed.
There you go.
These are the things that I hear. These are the stories that come to me constantly. They love to see this transition, and the transition happens quickly. It doesn't happen quickly for everyone, but they do see something.
Yeah.
They're able to sleep better. They're able to get through anything that is their mental issues a little bit easier when they've changed their diet and changed the way they eat to a more plant-forward method.
I know, I felt less bloated. You're eating so healthy that you're like, so I think that might be, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
So these are the things I love to hear because then I know it's working. When I know it's not working is when they stop. Because something in the mix of this gets in the way. Oh my God, I couldn't find that meal this week. I went on vacation or something like that.
Going out to dinner.
And they went out to dinner and they
it.
couldn't get what they want, but they didn't want to displease their partner, their friends, or whomever they're with.
Right.
And so then they revert back, and then they come back and they're like, well, I tried this, it did work, but I fell off the bandwagon again. How do I get back on?
There you go.
Because I liked the way I felt when I was on it. However, there's so many circumstances in my life that's preventing me from getting to that level again.
That's very good.
Hence the reason why I'm doing this, because even though you may have a cheat day or a cheat month or whatever the case may be, it's not hard to get back there. It's not hard. It's a process. It's a mental process. But I want them to understand that we are always going to be there to help them get back on
And
that
their
track.
bodies are going to tell them that too. Their
For
bodies
sure.
are like, gosh, I was
Absolutely.
feeling so good when I was doing that, and now I'm not feeling so good. So it kind of, that's a very, it's a big motivator.
It is. It is.
Very
So it's
cool.
not like I feel like I'm selling them something
Right.
that they can't see improvement on. Or because this is something you can do in your home. This is an everyday thing. It's not an extra, money pit or anything like that you're falling into. It's something that is actually natural. And so I'm very pleased that I'm able to bring that health part of it. I can tell them you can be healthy by just making little changes in your life, and I can work with you to make those changes.
And they're probably, their medications are diminishing.
Oh yeah.
That would be so like, I don't have to take this anymore.
I don't need to take a blood pressure
That's
medication. Wait a
awesome.
minute, I don't have type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, easiest thing to get rid of.
I've reversed all of that.
That's awesome.
These are the stories that I hear. First, what they tell me, but then when I get the numbers back, I'm telling them.
There you go.
Guess what? I don't think we need that blood pressure medication today.
So cool.
We're going to decrease it to a dose. Then we're going to eventually get off of it.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's my joy in continuing to do this. And that's why I went into lifestyle medicine, because I wanted more information of how to get my patients to that level.
That's awesome.
And not only just have to rely on, other people, telling me, but more getting the science behind it so that I can educate them and then they can follow through with it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, I wrote a couple, I think if you want to ask her a couple questions there, you certainly can.
How do you explain the link between food choices and disease prevention to your patients?
Yeah, that was something we were really interested in.
So the foods that you eat every day could either help or protect you, or they can harm you.
Yeah.
So my question to my patients is, how do you want to feel today? Do you want to feel healthy? What choices have you already made to be healthy? What choices do you typically make on a regular daily basis? When they tell me things like, oh, well, for breakfast, I went to McDonald's and got a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, or, I went to, for lunch, I went and I got like a pizza, and then I had a hot dog. Then I tell them, okay, so at the end of the day, how do you feel? Now let's look at your numbers. Look at what we're seeing. If you make little tweaks in your diet and we do small steps, you can make yourself either healthier or you can make your illness get worse. And so that choice, again, we talk about choices, is yours, right? So that choice to me is very simple. For some people, it may be harder finding healthier options out there for themselves. They walk into a grocery store, for us, Publix, and they see the prices and they're like, how can we even afford to eat healthy when all of this is not available for us? And so my guess is, if we had more of those options that are much more easier and cheaper and available to us, they would have it wouldn't be a question.
No excuse.
Right.
There won't be an
Yeah.
excuse.
That's right.
So I try to think of things like farmers markets. We have one out here almost every Saturday. In Fort Pierce, we have one. We have some in Melbourne. Sometimes if you go to those places, you'll get cheaper options. So let's start with substituting, like we talked about before, some of the things that you would typically eat for breakfast that could be a little bit cheaper. So yes, you say, I want a bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay, well, what about making some oats and oatmeal
There you go.
and putting some raspberries or blueberries? Those are small things, small changes that you can do so that you can start with that healthier lifestyle, that change, that more I'm going to live longer mentality.
Yeah.
Same thing when it comes to lunch. Yes, someone will say, well, you can have a salad, but that's not filling.
Right.
Well, let's have a salad with everything in it.
There you
Let's
go.
put the grains, let's put the lentils, and we can do this, like you said, overnight.
Yep.
And then we can put it all together for the next day, and you can pack it up and send it yourself as a meal.
There you go.
I'm a busy doctor, or I'm a busy lawyer, or I'm a busy anything. How am I going to make this type of meal for dinner for my family? And my quick things, smaller things. Prepping may not be an easy thing for you. If you have help with your older children or your partners, maybe we can all come together and we can do this. It doesn't have to be every day of the week.
No.
It just needs to be more days out of the week than less days out of the
Batch
week.
cooking,
Exactly.
One day of everybody doing some batch cooking.
The right foods will help your body stay healthier. And we know this, we've seen this, the science is behind it. You can see it through people who are already incorporating it in their diets as well.
No doubt.
So when you talk to patients about this and you have them understand, listen, whatever you decide is your choice, but you have to decide to make a healthier choice. And if you're gonna make that healthier choice, you'll see the difference. So that's how we approach it.
That's cool.
Excellent. Thank you, doctor.
Good
And
one.
I'm kind of an example of that because I check my blood 3 times a year, and I'm on no meds at almost. Well, I'm over 70. Let's leave it at that. Exactly.
That
And
is
that's
amazing.
because of Lisa.
Lisa.
And
I
it's,
want to be
it really is.
I
It's
want to
true.
be that couple walking
true.
on the beach and holding hands, and I don't want to be by myself. So
Absolutely.
I want to be out
You're going to
with
live a
them.
long time.
Oh, yeah.
120. Just
That's
finish
what we
reading
said,
the book. How
120.
do you
Yes.
live to
Mark your words.
120?
All 3 of us will be on 120 doing
That's
the
it.
same broadcast.
That's right.
Would love it, would
That
love
would be
it.
too.
We
Would
love
love
it.
it.
We're so happy
Yeah.
that you're here. In Vero.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy you guys are here because, again, I was lost for about a year. Like, what am I gonna do? And
I get it.
So.
It's hard to eat out. It's hard to do anything. You got to go home and you got to make it work for you.
Yes.
Even if you start one day a week.
One day, and that's
say-
how I
and then-
started.
That's right. A lot of people start that way, and then all of a sudden,
The other thing is chefs are opening up their kitchens.
They
yeah,
are.
They are.
They are.
They are
They are.
working.
I-
They're
They are.
seeing it.
They are.
I've seen it.
Mhm.
And
I have too.
You can
Mhm.
adapt
Yes.
it,
Awesome.
and we're finding that too.
It was
And
harder
you-
4 years ago, though.
Oh,
But now it's
at
not that
8
hard.
years ago, we were the devils.
yeah.
When we first started, it's crazy. But when you really look at it and you feel so much better, and
Yeah.
at 71, I'm still doing 8, 9, 10-hour days in kitchens, and it's really a testament to the movement.
Yeah.
It really is.
Eating healthy. It's
Yes.
easy to do.
Yes.
And you're not going to be able to substitute. When I talked about substituting baking, it's hard to say. I remember somebody coined the phrase like, well, what happens if I want to have, a steak and potato? Then we say, well, you have a portobello and mashed cauliflower. Well, you could say that. That person might not be satisfied with that.
Right.
So don't look for the same things you used to eat.
Right.
Try to develop a palate for new things
Exactly.
to eat, and that's why I say think about things that you might have liked, like potatoes or lentils or beans that you're like, I kind of like them, but I don't know what to do with them, and that's where you start. That's the starting point. Get yourself a book, start reading and start developing recipes and getting your pantry situated, and that's what's helped us, and here we are with her.
That's right.
Promoting.
Remember, health begins on your plate. By choosing more plant-based whole food options, you're not just fueling your body, you're also preventing disease, improving energy, and supporting longevity. Thank you to Chef Anthony and to Chef Lisa for showing us how healthy food can truly be vibrant and delicious. Until next time, I'm Dr. Latia Ilyadis, and this is Island Health Concierge Medicine, where lifestyle is medicine.